This is a risky way to allow nutrients into your body. The value of that morsel must be high enough to be worth the risk. If your body messes up and allows a toxin to enter through this back channel, you won't remain alive for long. After entering into the portal vein, the next stop for that VIP morsel is your liver, located centimeters away. Your liver converts all these fats into ketones. MCTs are one category of nutrients allowed through this special entrance. In fact, all fats with 10 links in their chains or shorter fit through the trap door and are rapidly converted into usable ketones. All other fats use the standard absorption process, trickling through your lymph system for 2 to 3 hours before entering your circulation. For the smaller VIP fats that fit through the trap door, your liver rapidly turns them into ketone energy your body can use immediately. As a baby, you stored fat all over your body. If we biopsied the fat in the layers swaddling a healthy baby, we find high amounts of fat with 8 links of fat, called C8, as well as high amounts of fat with 10 links of fat, called C10. Infants fill their cells with high energy fat. How come? Speed. C8 and C10 quickly convert into abundant ketone fuel. Between milk feedings, a baby efficiently taps this fat storage system for quick energy. This is an evolutionary advantage. When food is scarce, babies survive by fueling from their stored fat. A fast-growing baby requires quick access to an abundant energy source it can convert rapidly. Why should you care about this? Some of you won't care. You will transition to a high-fat, ketogenic diet, and eventually your system will purr along on a ketone-fueled motor. I wish I could say that from here on out, you will live happily ever after. Most of you, unfortunately, won't enjoy such a perfect journey. Your first attempt at keto will be new and interesting. Ketosis happens and you feel better. Weeks later, your carb habit sneaks back and your ketones fall. Ketosis benefits fade and you bounce out of the keto wagon completely. Your newfound keto lifestyle did not become a lifelong habit. Your initial ketosis success fades further and further into memory. You felt better when you did it, and you'd like to try it again, but hate the suffering of the keto transition. Many people have a rough time with the mood and energy slump they experience between giving up carbs and ketosis. People switching to a keto lifestyle use MCT supplements as a shortcut to the transition. They buy these products to avoid the side effects found in the slump when your body goes from glucose to ketones. The package labels for these MCT supplements promise rapid ketones and therefore lower side effects. Pay attention. The only fats that produce rapid delivery of ketones are 10 links or shorter. They must fit through your trap door to deliver on that promise. C8 fits. C8 is the chemistry shorthand for triglyceride compounds with 8 fat chain links. This is called caprylic fatty acid. C6 is termed caproic. C6 fits through the trap door and is a short chain fat. C10, capric, also fits. Nothing else will work. C12 is too long. These longer fatty chains trickle through your lymph system just like the fat found in butter and heavy whipping cream. They are not special. These longer chain fats may convert into ketones, but they take time to process. They are not the rapid quick fix that the label is selling you. Pricey supplements sell you on the speed of their ketone formulation. It is easy to get fooled into paying for the fats that are too long. These do not metabolize quickly. For example, let's look at coconuts. The advertising team linked the letters MCT to coconuts. Coconut fat is made up of 85% long triglycerides, too big to squeeze through your portal vein. Slick marketers focused on the 15% of coconut oil that does fit. They convert coconut oil into powder form and market it as MCT. Look closely at this chart to see the size of different fats. Notice the 3 smallest fats found in the coconuts are called similar names: caproic, caprylic, and capric. With chains 6, 8, and 10 links long, they all fit into your portal vein and turn on the ketones rapidly. These 3 fats come from the same root word caprine. Caprine refers to goats. These fats are found in high amounts in goat products. If the goat industry hired a better marketing team, goats would be associated with MCTs instead of coconuts. The clincher, MCT oil powders are not created equal. Use MCT C8-C10 powder to boost your ketone production. Don't waste your money on fats that are too long. Read the ingredients label. If the MCT root word is not caprine, it is the wrong size to be a rapid converter. Longer fats take hours to process through your slower, safer lymph system, arriving in your circulation at the same time as the rest of your food. If you want C12, it's cheaper to just use a scoop of coconut oil. For fast ketone production, use MCT C8-C10. Chapter 30. Grandma Rose, The Evil Empire Strikes Back. Back to the numbers game. After the oncologist stared at the startling 143,000 CLL lab report, he struggled with the disbelief that it could rise so quickly. A repeat test came back at 145,000 a few days later, burying our hope of a mistake. The fatigue, fullness in her neck, mounded masses in her armpits, and growths in her groin were all oversized lymph nodes. These findings validated her soaring numbers. The cancer was back and growing fast. The oncologist restarted her chemotherapy and ordered a recheck after 7 doses. The last time she took this medication, a few pills caused an inflammatory explosion. This time, her cancer doubling rate was so high that we were thankful for the close follow-up. Before Grandma Rose headed back to the farm, we reviewed our keto plan. In the preceding weeks, she thought she stuck closely to it. She drew confidence from the fact that her keto urine strips turned pink every time she checked. She renewed her commitment to drink broth every day and took my new advice to monitor her blood ketones and her blood glucose. I advised her to step up her monitoring after reading Dr. Thomas Seyfried's book, Cancer, a Metabolic Disease. While his research focused on brain cancers, not chronic lymphoma, his literature was the most relevant to my mom's cancer that I could find. I instructed Grandma Rose to follow his research advice. His findings could be summarized as follows. Place the highest stress on the cancer cells while protecting Grandma Rose's health and vitality. Her chemo medication was going to do what it was going to do. Our goal was to create the worst environment for her cancer cells while nourishing the rest of her body. How exactly? Cancer cells need sugar for energy. Lowering blood sugar to 0 would destroy these cells. Sadly, that would kill Grandma Rose, not protect her. The human body needs a minimum level of circulating glucose to survive. The solution? Reduce her blood sugar as much as possible while flooding her system with an alternate fuel, ketones. The higher her blood ketones, the better nourished her normal non-cancer cells would be. I did not have the microscopic genetic confirmation that Grandma Rose's specific cancer cells were glucose dependent. I simply made an educated guess that they were. I based my guess on a few clues from her history. During her first 6 weeks of ketosis, her CLL score dropped substantially, 30%. Recall that she had pushed off taking chemotherapy for nearly 2 years at that point. Her results exceeded my hopes. My confidence that her cancer lived off glucose grew when I saw how fasting helped her through many challenges. She stopped eating during complications from abscesses, diverticula, and a perforated bowel. All these threatened her life. Fasting seemed to help her overcome these conditions. Each time she fasted, she went from severely ill to medically stable. During the fasts, her blood sugars were low and ketones were high. When her abscesses flared and she fasted, things strangely improved. When her bowel perforated and the doctor ordered NPO, she improved. When the surgeon removed her bowels and sugar dripped into her veins, she deteriorated and the cancer grew. Maybe I was only seeing the answers I wanted to see. Maybe I was fitting my hypothesis into her situation. One fact remained. Every medical textbook said she should be dead, yet She was healthier now than she had been in years. Again, although Thomas Seyfried's research focused exclusively on brain tumors, I asked Grandma Rose to follow his protocol, decreasing blood sugars as low as possible while pushing ketones as high as possible. She agreed, and each morning she checked fasting sugars along with ketones. She pricked her finger and placed one drop of blood onto the glucose monitor and another drop onto the ketone monitor. She also took her daily chemo pills. According to Seyfried's research, blood glucose should always be under 80 and lower if we could get it there. Ideally, this should accompany a ketone number greater than 2. To simplify these goals, Seyfried uses a ratio that divides glucose by ketones. Brain tumors showed the greatest reduction when that ratio was less than 20. For the first 2 weeks, Grandma Rose's blood sugars ranged in the 80s and 90s, while her blood ketones held strong in the 1.4 to 1.8 range. We were happy if we hit the ratio of 50. Not one time did we see ratios in the 20s. We had 2 objectives to work with. Either we raise her blood ketones or lower her blood sugars, or both. Seyfried's brain tumor studies lowered the patient's blood sugars into the 50s and 60 range. That number unsettled me. I had never seen a healthy person with blood glucoses that low. I reminded myself that my clinic overflowed with people struggling with chronic disease. These are not healthy people. If a newly diagnosed diabetic came into my clinic and I instructed her to get blood glucose down to 55 or 65, that advice would kill her. Diabetics' sugars often run in the 150 to 200 range, even with medical treatment. Their bodies and brains are steeped in toxic levels of sugar. The human brain is the slowest ketone adapter. A quick drop of glucose to the 80 or 90 range causes profound side effects. Safely dropping a diabetic sugar level from 180 to 80 takes several weeks. Grandma Rose's glucose needed to come down by 20 to 30 points. I thought about adding metformin to Grandma Rose's plan. Metformin is a prescription medication that lowers blood glucose in a safe and effective way, without pushing the sugars too low. Adding metformin would certainly reduce her sugars. It was safe, easy, and cheap. This medication might also have other anti-cancer benefits. All that was good. What stopped me from prescribing it was the risk of diarrhea. One look at her colostomy bag, and I decided against it. With her surgical wound finally mended, I chose not to squeeze on squirt just yet. The other way to lower blood sugar in ketosis patients was to lower their daily calories. We rarely talked about calories or even measure them. Her caloric intake naturally dropped as she grew accustomed to ketosis. Obviously, when she fasted, she had 0 calories. She agreed to try fasting again. We called her fasting days bone broth days. Much like the time when she repurposed her birth canal, she used the salty broth to push through any hunger waves. If hunger snuck up on her, she used the power of salt to deflect those symptoms. Fasting caused her numbers to improve. Even though she did not fast for days on end like she had before, she had nice results with intermittent fasting. She fasted for 36 hours twice a week. She would eat supper on Sunday, and her next meal would be Tuesday morning. Her sugars sank into the 70-80 level, and her ketones reached around 2.1 to 2.5. That came out to a ratio of 30 to 40. Although our goal was 20, we proudly celebrated our accomplishment. On non-fasting days, she added supplements to boost her ketone numbers. The supplements can be a little confusing. I use this chart to explain her options. Fasting will give you ketones in the range of 1 to 8, depending on how long you do it. A ketogenic diet, the ketones usually range from 1 to 3. MCT, C8, C10 supplements give you ketones in the 1 to 3 range as well. But ketone supplements, also called exogenous ketones or ketones in a can, range from 1 to 10. Grandma Rose looked at that chart and chose the ketone supplements with eagerness. Ketones in a can offer a quick and easy ketone boost. What's not to love? Ketones in a can are made in the chemistry lab. Unlike MCT supplements, where your liver converts ketones from powdered fat These ketones are ready-made. Indeed, one scoop and her blood ketones shot into the 3.0 to 3.8 range. She quickly learned the downside. Chemists make ketones in a can by connecting minerals such as potassium, sodium, magnesium, or calcium to synthetic ketone molecules. If the chemist uses too much magnesium or potassium in the concoction, yuck. Also, these salts pull water into the bowel. When Grandma Rose drank too many ketones in a can, she turned her colostomy bag into a squirt gun. Squirt stayed mad for 2 days with diarrhea. Typically, scientists use the antidote of sugar to something that tastes that rotten. But not in the ketone lab. Instead, the chemists add different artificial sweeteners. These also cause loose stools. The additional sugar substitutes found in ketones in a can triggered Grandma Rose's pancreas to produce insulin. Even though these substitutes don't have the chemical structure of sugar, their sweetness tricks her brain to think they are the real deal. Accordingly, her body released insulin and craved more sweets the rest of the day. Insulin stopped her ketosis, and this sent her blood sugars into the cycle of falling and rising. Insulin pushed sugars into her cells and out of her blood. Grandma Rose did not feel good when her sugars dropped that low. This cycle made her feel badly, and when she felt badly, she made poor choices. Supplementing ketones suppressed her appetite just like nutritional ketosis does. However, like most, Grandma Rose reported a stronger appetite suppression through fasting compared to ketones in a can. That sounds backwards to people who have never fasted. How could your appetite go down when you fast? Well, it does. The higher your ketones go, the less you want food. The additional benefits that surge during fasting turn off your hunger. She tried a half dozen different samples before she said, "I'd rather not eat than suffer through that nastiness." After that failed mess, Grandma Rose opted for MCT C8-C10. Unlike pre-made ketones in a can, MCTs are powdered fats that your liver must turn into ketones. MCT C8-C10 had no carbs and all the right fats. A scoop of this powder quickly raised Grandma Rose's ketones for hours without a desire for food. Previously, she had mixed butter or coconut oil in her coffee instead of this powder. The fats found in butter and coconut left her with several hours before appetite-suppressing ketones arrived in circulation. MCT C8-C10 rapidly delivered only the best fats to boost her ketones. Her blood sugars, on eating days, naturally ran higher than when fasting. With sugars ranging from 85 to 95 and ketones from 3 to 3.8, her ratio spanned from 22 to 30 that first week. Our goal was 20. We were getting pretty close. Even though she preferred fasting, it appeared that even with all the side effects, her ratio was better with ketones in a can. After starting her chemotherapy, her 1-week follow-up showed no danger signs. No big win either. With only a smidgen of a drop in her cancer numbers after a week, the oncologist sent Grandma Rose back home for 40 more days of chemotherapy. Week 2 of chemo filled Grandma Rose's shower drain with hair. Chapter 31. Lessons from Dr. Bosworth. Don't listen to this first. The secret to fast weight loss. Warning, do not listen to this section first. If you skipped forward to this section of the book, wanting in on the secret of how to lose weight like a movie star, stop. You can't skip those other steps and jump straight to this advanced lesson. Seriously, this is an advanced lesson. There is a reason we used to put patients into the hospital to induce ketosis. You can hurt yourself if you don't understand the previous chapters. Warning, do not listen to this section if you are not willing to commit to follow these rules exactly as you hear them. With all those disclaimers out of the way, welcome to the fast lane. And by fast, I'm referring to weight loss. I teach patients this lesson on weight loss when they have arrived, when they get it. They have shown up at the weekly support group, they confessed all their carb sins, and they want to change the course of their lives. For them, ketosis for a lifetime is not a far-fetched idea anymore. They emptied the no-nos out of their cupboards. They washed down the shelves in the pantry that used to hold bags of processed food. They pushed through that phase where adding a sugar substitute to everything seemed like a solution. They graduated from the phase where they made 40 flavors of fat bombs to keep around just in case. They are the real deal, ketosis for life. If this is you, let me help you live your healthiest life and look great too. You might have guessed from the past couple of lessons in this book that this involves intermittent fasting, stimulating your growth hormone, and manipulating your metabolism math equation. For this to work, you need to level up. Step 1. Step 1. Produce and monitor ketones for 4 weeks. Don't try this without 4 weeks of proven ketones. If you are listening to this book, you are serious about improving your health. However, you are probably not under the care of a doctor who is passionate about ketosis for life. This rapid weight loss lesson is powerful, safe, and sustainable weight loss, but you must be keto adapted first. In cases where I did not enforce this rule, they all failed. Every stinking one. You must have ketones in your urine for the better part of a month for this to work. Allow me to digress. Requiring 4 weeks of adaptation involves more than just adjustment of your cell's mechanics. You must go through the process of removing temptations, cleaning out cupboards, and taking on the social challenges of becoming a ketone lover. You will be going against what society tells you. This journey is not for the faint of souls. You will be thumped on the head with the mantra that you must eat fruit. Someone will sabotage your momentum with the fear that all that fat will cause a heart attack. Others chip away at your resolve by repeatedly offering you high-carb, healthy snacks. If you're listening to this book straight through and have never experienced high ketones with low blood sugar levels, you might think, Doc, of course you'll lose weight if you fast, but who can stick to that plan? You can, once you shift your chemistry. Ketosis' natural side effects will help you. Fat is your friend. Once your body's chemistry shifts to ketones, your glucose levels stabilize, and gradually your hunger cycle disappears. Seriously, no matter how many patients I walk through this, my carb-addicted patients do not believe this until the day they forget to eat. It sounds laughable, but this will happen to you. On the standard American diet, your feeding signals are triggered by your blood sugars, peaks, and crashes. When fueled with fat, your hunger diminishes along with your blood glucose levels. Produce ketones for 4 weeks before you try this rapid weight loss plan. That month prepares your mind, cells, and coping skills for your success. Step 2. Buy a blood monitor the week before you start. Proper monitoring is an essential component for rapid weight loss with ketosis. Level up by checking your blood ketones as well as your blood sugars. Check them simultaneously. Originally, I bought a Precision Extra monitor because this device measures both ketones and glucose. I randomly tested simply to satisfy my curiosity, but never looked at both at the same time. When I advanced to the rapid weight loss stage of ketosis, I needed both numbers at the same time. I found it annoying coaxing my finger to bleed long enough for this setup. Each test takes only 10 seconds. However, by the time the ketone check was done, that strip pulled out and replaced with the glucose strip, my finger had stopped bleeding. I had to poke myself twice. Frustrating. When I added a separate glucose monitor and prepared both testing devices before the finger prick, it worked much better. Supply yourself with ample testing strips. Initially, you may want to test 3 to 4 times a day to gauge your progress. Monitoring centers on 2 valuable situations: first thing in the morning and prior to eating at the end of your fast. Step 3. Begin intermittent fasting. Our goal is to boost your metabolism through intermittent fasting. Because you are keto adapted, rapid weight loss is possible